There it is. All right. So again, I want to call the regular council meeting of the Woodlawn Village Council, June 30th. The time is now 7:04 p.m. I'm going to ask that Jerry lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance with that wonderful flag behind him.
Gonna stand or sit?
Wherever they are.
Pledge of allegiance to the
United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Brian,
you're on mute.
I do apologize. Father God, right now, we just want to ask a special blessing upon our village. We're just asking that God continues to watch over our residents, the world right now, as we still experience the COVID pandemic. Father God, we just ask that we make the right decisions for the village of Woodlawn. It's not personal, it's for the betterment of the village. And these blessings we ask, amen.
Amen.
Roll call. Esther Boyd. Esther Boyd. Roll call.
You're on mute, Miss Boyd.
Here.
Thank you. Kiana Trabue.
Here.
Rosemary Brown. Rosemary Brown.
Not sure if you're on mute, but we can't hear you, Miss Brown.
Rosemary Brown. Robert Lawson.
Here.
Garrick Burkhalter.
Here.
Pam Fitzgerald.
Here.
Rosemary Brown.
You can see her lips moving, but I think she must be having audio problems.
I
Yeah.
believe.
Rosemary, you might want to log out and rejoin.
Or check your speaker volume. You know I have it down real low. We can't hear you if you bump it up. Your speaker volume on your computer.
Rosemary, can you hear us now? All right. See if I can shoot her a quick text.
She must have logged out to try to log back on there.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and continue. I do see her face, but I will have her affirm that she is present for this meeting upon her return. Okay. All right. So I have reading and disposal of previous minutes. I don't have anything from that. I believe that we did catch up with some of the ones that we did not have to produce from finance, but I believe all of those have been approved. All right. So Jerry, did we have any petitions and comments from the public?
I have not. Let me just double check email real quick. Make sure there's nothing since the deadline.
Ms. Brown, can you hear us back there?
I see no emails from the public.
Okay. The only one that I received, and I think Jerry, you are aware of it as well as Steve, is the emails that have been going back and forth with the resident over on Forest and Marion. And I believe that we have set a date for next week to meet with her. But this is concerning the paper street over on Forest. So council, if you hear that, know that we are dealing with that. And again, we have set a meeting for next week. I believe it's on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Tony, myself, and Jerry, we will be meeting with the resident
Mayor,
about that issue. And again, we'll keep everybody posted on that. Okay.
Mayor, you initially said Steve, but you mean Tony, correct?
That's what I meant. You know what I meant.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Ms. Brown is saying that she doesn't have any sound. So I'm going to just I'm going to tell her to dial in. Can she do a dial in like we did last month with Kiana?
She can, yes.
I had to tell her to come across the street, right? All right. So I told her to go ahead and dial in. So we're going to keep moving. I don't want to stall the meeting. It looks like a very short one. And so with that being said, committee reports, finance, Ms. Fitzgerald.
Yes. From the Finance Committee meeting minutes from June 22nd, 2020, the meeting was called to order at 7:10 p.m. Members that were present was myself, Esther Boyd, and Kiana Trabune. We had quite a few others that were in attendance as well, which included Rosemary Brown, Tim Engel, Charles Willis, Mr. Poole, Robert Lawson, and Aaron Tillman, and also Mr. Burkhalter. The committee reviewed the minutes from April and May. They were included in the packets, and they were approved for April and May. There was an income tax update that included May 2019 and 2020 monthly reports, as well as a collection for the May 2020, which was $436,460. Compared to 2019, it was $374,000, which was just a small difference. We know that collections has been up for May. We do anticipate it to go back up for July, with the deadline coming in at July 15th. Our road funds total for January 2020 to May 2020, $309,798, compared to January 2019 to May 2020, we collected $957,163 total. It was noted that the bid process for Shady Lane and Riddle Road closed at the end of May. There were 4 to 5 companies who actually responded to that. So they're in the process of looking at what roads to complete first. Tax court will begin in August. For payroll, village will go paperless for the payroll services. This will save the village approximately $12,000 annually because we're going paperless. Our finance director also delivered reports to each council member. His written report included LGS updates, appropriations. We visited the general fund balances. We talked about Swim Safe, which is delayed for 2020, and also doing repairs on the pool since we're not opening the pool this year. We spoke briefly about our compensation and retention. We're working on a possible plan for our police and fire staff. We reviewed overtime reports, monthly expenses, and budgeted receipts during that meeting. The only real discussion was just on the pool levy, of how it may be used, and that's in regards to getting the pool fixed. We also had some discussion in regards to RETA, which is a tax service that we have been looking into to take over our tax department. There was no real new business that was discussed, and the meeting was adjourned at 9:49 p.m. So it was a pretty lengthy meeting as far as all the reports that I named before that we actually reviewed. And that was pretty much my report for the June 22nd, 2020 meeting that took place for the Finance Committee meeting.
Thanks, Pam. I appreciate that. And team, it was a good meeting. I think it was a really good long meeting. It was probably one of the longest we've had in a while, but I think it was really some good information that came out of that meeting. So good stuff. Any questions for Pam and Finance, anybody? And I do see Rosemary is in. Rosemary, we did a roll call. I just want to have it as the record that you are present with your vote.
Present. I'm
Thank
here.
you.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Thank you.
All right. Thank
Mayor,
you.
can I make one correction to the finance report?
Sure.
Shady Lane and Riddle Road, the bid opening was actually held on June 25th.
Correct.
So I don't know how that May date got in there, but we just had those bid openings, and you do have legislation on the agenda for both
Right.
projects tonight.
So, yeah, so Pam, we may just have to do some amending to those minutes, but real simple to that, no big deal. But again, yes, those bids did go out. They've been awarded. And again, tonight, we do have some legislation on those roads, those two roads. All right. Law Committee, Mr. Burkhalter.
Yes, law met on June 24th at 7 p.m. Several members were in attendance. Mr. Lawson was in attendance. We excused Ms. Brown for that meeting. We also had Ms. Boyd in attendance, Ms. Treview, Ms. Fitzgerald, and our law director, Emily Superner. We called the meeting together, like Pam stated earlier. There was some discussion on RETA, the tax services that the village was looking into possibly going to. There was lengthy discussion on RETA. There were concerns about the amount that it would cost if we were to switch to RETA. There were concerns about our current financial status, also concerns about the payment schedule from RETA. There were several questions at the end of the meeting that probably lasted about an hour. There was a consensus, not a vote, a consensus that at this time we did not want to bring RETA before council for a vote. Ms. Superner brought some legislation that will be discussed tonight. And for the most part, the whole discussion on the law committee meeting was about RETA, in which the consensus was not to bring it before council for vote. And that was it for law.
Any questions for Mr. Burkhalter? So I know that they, in the law committee, it was discussed. It looks like it poured over from the finance meeting into the law meeting, in which did not have enough votes to come out of committee to do such. And so, again, I know that Tim has sent out some information for all of us to read, different scenarios. I urge everyone to please read the information and give us some feedback. Because that is the direction that our finance director is giving us. And from a number standpoint, again, he's provided that. So please take that opportunity to look at that if in your time, okay? Appreciate that. And again, any other questions for Mr. Burkhalter? All right, good stuff. Municipal managers report.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a real long report, just getting back in town and trying to catch up to things. But I will inform you, as most of you know, Wayne lost the development on Wayne Avenue with the affordable housing complex. It is moving forward. They did get their credits from the state. They did submit application with the help of Dan Ferguson from HCDC. So we're in the process with that. We're trying to set a meeting up with one of their development team members between our fire chief and public works director to make sure as they go through their process, submitting their final site plan for approval, that they have touched the bases on everything and they're ready to go. Before I left, I sent several letters out regarding property maintenance issues. Some have been complied, some the village has taken care of. I'll be doing another round of those letters probably later this week. Slow improvement, but we have some discussion, the mayor and I, regarding the hiring of a part-time property maintenance person to replace Carrie, who left late December of last year. So we're working on that. One of the big issues is the house that burned down in 2018 on Wayne Avenue, just north of Marion, 2 houses from the corner. I know the village crews cut the grass there, but they did have a big track hoe on the property. A letter was sent out, and I'll inform Emily the track hoe has been removed as of today. So they took the track hoe out of there. Now we just got to get them to complete the rest of the lot and make those improvements and get rid of the garbage on there. I want to have a meeting with our finance director regarding our income and also our pool levy funds in reference to making the pool improvements that we discussed. Mr.
You need something?
Involved with that.
No, I just put it on mute.
Because we do have some of those revenues, and without the pool opening, would like to see us paint the pool and also look at the splash park to make those improvements. We also have a lot of deck issues with some of bad concrete, spalling concrete or cracking concrete that we need to address and make those improvements. And the final thing I have is the bid openings for both Shady Lane and Riddle Road took place. I can't remember if I emailed that out to council, if I forwarded on from our engineers. Does anyone recall seeing that? I apologize if I didn't. I will forward that on to you, but I can tell you that on the Shady Lane project, we had a low bid of $261,215.25, which was Prue's Construction. And we had a high bid of Fred A. Neiman at $338,840. Pretty significant difference. It was over the engineer's estimate by roughly $51,000, just a little under $51,000. I am still recommending that we move forward with that project for Shady Lane. And we do have legislation tonight for Prue's Construction on that. There was 5 bidders on that project. On the Riddle Road project, we had 4 bidders, and this is the overlay or the pavement for Riddle Road Phase 2. The low bidder came in by John R. Jerguson at $163,340.55. The high bidder again was Prue's at $199,505.05. I will tell you that the low bidder won that bid. I'm sorry, back on the Shady Lane, the low bidder won that bid by less than $200. So it was a very tight bid process. The other one was about a $2,000 difference for Riddle Road, the difference of the bids. But I am again recommending that we move forward with awarding John R. Jerguson, and we do have a legislation tonight to award that contract to them to do Riddle Road. Once if council approves those tonight, those contractors will be contacted, and we'll try to get a schedule from them, and hopefully both of these projects will be completed this year. That's all I have right now. Thank you.
Good stuff. So my question behind talking about streets. Now, I know that those 2 were our priority. And I know that we didn't win the grant that we were trying to go after for Chester Road, but Chester Road is in dire need. Can we possibly look at that as our next street, getting together with Tony and just kind of talking about that? I'm not as privy to, you've been around the village driving, but I know that Chester Road is just horrible. And so I know that there was a really big cost for that. I don't know if it's something that we can do this year, but certainly can we look at it for this year?
Absolutely. When I got back from vacation, I did have a contract from IBI regarding a project for Chester Road, splitting that up into 2 phases and doing that. And that's one of the items that I need to talk to Emily about. I don't know if it has to go to council for approval, just for the engineering and design, or if I can just sign that and tell them to move forward on it. Unfortunately, I left it on my desk at the office and I don't have it with me, but I will touch base with Emily. I'll make a note of that I do that tomorrow. Find out if we need to go to council or if we can just move forward with signing that contract, let them design the grind and overlay project and then move forward on it. Chester Road is one. The other one that I am looking hard at, and I asked Anthony to look into as well as our engineers, we will come to council with this, is Redna Drive in our industrial area. That is a concrete street, and it is, I don't want to even say it's in poor shape, but with all the heavy truck traffic, it is in very poor shape that we need to address. Those businesses back there are the livelihood of this community, and we want to make sure we keep them there.
That's for sure. Okay. All right. Good stuff. And then real quickly, I just noticed or have noticed in the past, since we're talking about streets, Anthony, you may know anything about this. As you're traveling up west on Riddle Road, right before, as you approach the stop sign there, it's some ripples in that road. This road isn't old enough or it hasn't been in there long enough for it to experience that. What's going on there?
You said stop sign. At what intersection?
Riddle Road and Woodlawn Boulevard.
Riddle Road and Woodlawn Boulevard.
Yes.
I have not noticed, but I'll look at it tomorrow.
Okay. I just noticed that, and it seems like it's just getting worse, and I'm not understanding what's breaking down in there. We just got that done.
And it very well could be because we had some construction, some safe routes to school. You know, they were doing some work right around that area. And they did have heavy equipment around that area. So it very well could be because of that. But I'll look at it tomorrow and
Okay.
get with the manager and see what we can do about it if it is
Okay.
effective mode.
We can go attack the state and get that fixed, right? All right. All right. Thanks, Anthony. I appreciate that. All right. Anybody have any other questions for the manager?
Mayor,
Yes.
can't Emily answer your question, his question tonight about the engineering fees?
Jerry remembers how much it is.
I don't. I left it on my desk at the office.
It depends on the dollar amount.
If it's over 10,000, is
Correct.
that it? If it's over
Correct.
10,000, he would have to bring it to council.
Correct.
Correct.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Hey, I had
Having none. Did somebody say yes, Mr. Lawson?
I had a quick question for Jerry.
Okay.
Jerry, was there any money left over from the summer concert series? Since I'm assuming we won't have summer concert series, will there be any extra money for the budget? I'm just thinking if there was money left over from the concert series, could we use that for repairs of the pool? And that's just a suggestion.
But that's general fund dollars. If we don't do any of the summer concert series, that money, we budgeted that money, but it's not, it doesn't mean that we're going to have all that money because we're anticipating losing some revenue on our income side. So you can say, yeah, that money that we appropriated won't be spent on that. And if we do have adequate income coming in, and we think we have some money from the general fund that we could put toward the pool, yes, we could.
Okay, just curious. Food for
Okay.
thought.
So I think just to clarify that, Mr. Lawson, we had talked about the monies that we're not spending this year to operate the pool, which is levy money, allows us to do some upgrading. And so the plan is this summer to have that pool painted as well as the splash park to have that repaired as well. So we are taking money that is allocated for the pool operation and just simply doing maintenance, which we are allowed to do with that tax levy money. It's certain things that you can do, and that's one of them.
Okay.
Okay. So again, the summer concert series was not funded through our general fund. And so, but the pool is going to be painted this summer.
Okay. I'm sure that was informative for all the residents. I'm sure they might be confused about it.
Right. Okay. No worries.
Go.
No worries. All right. Finance Director, Mr. Engel.
Yes, sir. First thing I'd like to do is go ahead and ask council to approve the list of receipts and disbursements that should be included in your council packets. Those were also presented at Finance Committee. And those are for the month of May.
I'll make a motion to approve the receipts and disbursements for the month of May.
I'll second it.
One moment. And so that's approving the receipts and payment listing, correct, Tim?
Yes, sir.
All right. Roll call. Esther Boyd.
On mute, Ms. Boyd.
Esther Boyd.
Yes.
Thank you. Kiana Trabue.
Aye.
Rosemary Brown. Rosemary. Robert Lawson.
Aye.
Garrick Burkhalter.
Aye.
Pam Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Rosemary Brown.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Tim.
Yes, sir. In terms of finance, as Ms. Fitzgerald alluded to, we went over the Finance Committee report. Not really a whole lot of new things have happened since Finance Committee. We seem to be on track with receipts and disbursements for the month of May. Did want to add a couple of things that did happen. The audit of the Woodlawn SID has been completed. There were no reportable conditions related to the financial statement. A couple of report items related to compliance. Those can be addressed when we have a meeting related to that special improvement district. Again, we can get some legislation passed for those. The only other thing is that we should have a tax budget hearing in the month of July. We can file an extension for that. I'm actually kind of thinking about doing that just because the income tax deadline has been pushed back to the middle of July. But other than that, nothing new has really come across my desk related to finance.
Does anybody have any questions for Tim? Tim, you were saying something, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. I was going to add in to Mr. Lawson's question before. We kind of went over the pool levy money at Finance Committee. I believe any repairs we wish to make to the pool and the splash pad this year can come out of that levy money. We really shouldn't have to touch general fund for that.
Okay, that sounds nice.
Tim, on the budget, do you
Yes.
know when you want to do that? Are you going to do that before the regular council meeting in July, or do you want to extend it out past that?
The tax budget would have to, if we do it in July, it has to be before the regular council meeting. The auditor, county auditor, needs to have that in his office by the 20th of July.
Right.
I am thinking about going ahead and filing the extension for that. So we can go ahead and maybe do that in August after those income tax numbers come in for July.
Okay. We just need to make sure we do a 10-day notice in the paper when we
I understand. Absolutely.
All right. Any other questions for Tim and his report? Law Director.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things I wanted to report on. First, just an update from the Charter Review Commission. The commission has met 5 times every week for the past 5 weeks. It's completed its review of the entire charter. It will be meeting again tomorrow to review all of the proposed changes and make sure the commission is satisfied. with the report that it will present to council at the July council meeting. The only other item I have is we're still working on the fire truck litigation. We have a mediation scheduled in that case in September. And I would like to, and I think the mayor will address this in his report, but I'd like to have an executive session on that. That would occur at a special council meeting next week, if that's possible. But those are the only two items I had.
Does anybody have any questions for Emily and law?
I do.
From a law standpoint? Yes, Ms. Trabue.
Thank you. I just had a question related to the charter review. Wasn't there a specific date that we had to have that completed?
Yeah, we need to have that to the Board of Elections in August, early August.
Okay, so with them presenting that to us at the July council meeting, does that give us time as a council to review?
So what I will
need
do, is I will have a summary of all the proposed changes for law committee that we can do in law, and then we'll have the presentation by the charter review. And it's probably easier for us to discuss it and have a special council meeting in early August for purposes of approving legislation to place it on the ballot.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Emily?
I have a question, Mayor.
Sure, Chief.
Last year, we submitted a document for a public safety commission, and it went through all the committees, but it was waiting until time for the charter review committee to come together. I forwarded that document to the safety chair, and there's some other things on there that we were hoping that the committee could review and consider updating the charter with.
That wasn't received by the chairperson of the Charter Commission until Thursday after our last meeting. So I don't think there's, in reviewing what the proposal was, the mayor hadn't seen it yet and the manager hadn't seen it yet. I don't think there's adequate time to vet the types of changes that were being proposed. So I don't know that the Charter Review Commission is going to take up that item this year.
Okay, so with police reform coming down, there's things coming down from the governor. So I guess at some point we'll have to look at this again.
Certainly, I'm not sure that it'll be part of the charter review. It is certainly a topic that can be taken up by council, though, at any time.
Okay.
I agree with you.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Chief. Anybody have anything else for Emily? All right. So in terms of my report, I don't have a lot for the report tonight. One, I am going to request that we have a special council meeting, and I'm hoping that we can have this meeting on Tuesday. There is some things that we need to address in a executive session. And so I'm calling for a special council meeting on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Does everybody think that their schedules will allow that? Anybody have any? Mr. Burkhalter, I seen your mic go off. Do you have any?
No, I was just about to say yes, I'll be available.
Okay. All right. Thanks. And so.
July 7th?
Yes, that's Tuesday.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock. This will be a live, I will be at the building. And so since we're going into an executive session, I feel comfortable that we'll have a smaller crowd because it'll just be council in the executive session. So I feel safe about that. The other thing is I wanted to bring to council's attention. In fact, you will still receive an email followed with a letter. But we have two young men who have put it together a peace walk that is going to happen on July the 11th. They are going to be walking from Mount Zion, Glendale to the village, ending at the parking lot of the community center. They're going to have registration, voter registration on at the beginning of March. And we are going to do one here in the village at the end of the march as well. Again, this is a unity march, and we made sure that both police chiefs were involved in understanding what those plans look like. Before we okayed anybody to do anything, we wanted to make sure that our chief and Glendale's chief understood what was going on. And so they both signed off, understanding what that looks like. I hope that our entire council, directors, come out for that march. But again, it's on July the 11th at 1:00 p.m. And again, it is starting at the Mount Zion Baptist Church in Glendale, over on Coral Avenue in Glendale. So again, I'm going to be sending out an update just to, again, remind council of what is going on, so everybody is aware. If you see the big march come through the village on that day, you understand what's going on. But I sure would encourage everybody to come and march with us on that day. I don't have any other questions. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I have a question. I'm sorry if I missed it. Who did you say was organizing the Peace Walk?
Corey Logan and AJ Williams Jr. AJ lives here in the village, and Corey Logan is, in fact, he's my pastor's son, and he is organizing the march.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a
Ms.
question.
Boyd, did you have a question?
Yes, do you
Yes.
know what the route would be? Is just down,
Yes.
down Congress and Springfield Pike?
Yes, we'll be traveling south on 747 right into Springfield Pike, at which time our police department will pick up any traffic control, any safety, anything at that point. Chief indicated that at our border is when he will take over from there.
Okay. We'll be there.
Okay. All right.
Mayor?
Yes, Ms. Brown.
Okay, I just want to go back to the code enforcer.
Yes.
I heard Jerry say you and he had discussed a part-time code enforcer. I would like, if all possible, we can look at our budget to see if we can actually do a full-time code enforcer. Our village is beginning to look really disturbing. Okay.
To say the least, that's fair.
Okay. And I really do believe we need a full-time code enforcer. Given the time that they would have to be out in the community, as well as any paperwork that they may have to do. Okay. I just would like for that to be a consideration.
No worries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions for myself? All right. We do have some pieces of legislation on our agenda tonight. Emily?
Sure. The first item we have is Resolution 10-2020, a resolution affirming that all coronavirus relief funding received by the Village of Woodlawn shall be expended only for such costs permitted under Section 5001 of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act.
Very well. I need a motion to suspend the rules.
Make a motion to suspend the rules of Resolution 10-2020.
Okay, and if you guys just give me a bare minute because I'm trying to write so Pam and I can compare notes, okay? All right, so Mr. Burkhalter made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, roll call to suspend the rules. Esther Boyd?
Yes.
Thank you. Kiana Trabue?
Aye.
Rosemary Brown?
Aye.
Robert Lawson?
Aye.
Garrick Burkhalter?
Aye.
Pam Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Thank you. I need a motion for passage of resolution number 10-2020.
Make a motion for passage of Resolution 10-2020.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Thank you, Pam. One moment. Roll call on the passage. Pam Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Garrick Burkhalter,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Kiana Trabue,
Aye.
Esther Boyd.
Yes.
Thank you.
The next item we have is Resolution 11, 2020, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with John R. Jerguson Company for the Riddle Road Phase 2 project.
Thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rules for resolution number 11, 2020.
Make a,
Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
make a motion to suspend the rules for resolution 11, 2020.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Lawson. Roll call on the suspension of the rules. Esther Boyd,
Yes.
Kiana Trabue,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Garrick Burkhalter,
Aye.
Pam Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Thank you. I need a motion for passage of resolution number 11, 2020.
Motion for passage of resolution 11, 2020.
A second.
Thank you. Roll call on the passage. Pam Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Garrick Burkhalter,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Kiana Trabue,
Aye.
Esther Boyd.
Yes.
Thank you.
The next one is Resolution 12, 2020, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with Press Construction for the Shady Lane reconstruction project.
I need a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend rules for resolution 12, 2020.
There's a second.
I second it.
Thank you. Roll call on the suspension. Esther Boyd,
Yes.
Kiana Trabue,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Garrick Burkhalter,
Aye.
Pam Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Thank you. I need a motion for passage of resolution number 12, 2020.
Motion for passage for resolution 12, 2020.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call on the passage. Pam Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Garrick Burkhalter,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Kiana Trabue,
Aye.
Esther Boyd.
Yes.
Thank you.
The next item is Ordinance Number 6, 2020, an ordinance amending appropriations for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020.
Very well. I need a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 6, 2020.
Motion to suspend the rules.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call on the suspension. Esther Boyd,
Yes.
Kiana Trabue,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Garrick Burkhalter,
Aye.
Pam Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Thank you. I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 6, 2020.
Motion for passage of ordinance 6, 2020.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Lawson. Roll call for passage. Pam Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Garrick Burkhalter,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Kiana Trabue,
Aye.
Esther Boyd.
Yes.
You.
The
Okay.
last one is Ordinance Number 7, 2020, an ordinance to advance up to $28,000 from the general fund to the food grant fund.
All right, I need a motion. What number was that, Emily?
7?
Thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 7, 2020.
Make a motion to suspend the rules for 7/2020.
All right, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call for suspension of the rules. Pam Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Garrick Burkhalter,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Kiana Trabue,
Aye.
Esther Boyd.
Yes.
Very well. I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 7, 2020.
Motion for
motion.
passage of ordinance 7, 2020.
Thank you. Anyone second motion to the motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All right. Roll call on the passage. Esther Boyd,
Yes.
Kiana Trabue,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Garrett Burkhalter,
Aye.
Pam Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. All right. Did we hit N10, the corner right? Yeah, we did. All right. I just want to make sure. So that is all the legislation that I have or that we have that comes before council tonight. We are, before we kind of close out, I want to let everybody know that we are kind of moving toward having more committee meetings. I think we need to get back to that, just to kind of get a sense of not the communities, my goodness, and the other departments. We are having one tomorrow with Steve in recreation, and just kind of talk about where we are right now in recreation and where we like to go. So think about that for the month of July, about having those meetings. If we do feel that these meetings are going to get too crowded, team, again, I am still monitoring the process, okay? The coronavirus is not gone yet, all right? So I am still making sure that when we bring people in outside of our group, that we're doing it safely. So I hope everybody understands that, okay?
Okay. Excuse me, Mayor.
There's a,
Mayor, quick question.
Yes.
You didn't say what time the recreation meeting was tomorrow.
It's
Do you know
at
what
6
time it
o'clock.
it's
6
the-
o'clock?
Yes, correct, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, all
It's
right.
at the rec center?
Yes.
It is at the municipal building.
Municipal building, okay.
That is correct. It's at the municipal building at 6 o'clock. All right?
A
Now,
public works meeting is scheduled for 7 o'clock tomorrow also.
yes, but we didn't put anything out there. So where I was going with that was in the month of July, we didn't put it in place. We knew this days ago. Now you're kind of bringing this up. I'm just saying that we want to get there, but I don't know if I have enough time to put it out there.
It's
Yeah.
on the schedule.
Calendar and the
It's
schedule.
on the calendar, yeah.
Okay. Again, I'm looking at the safety of us bringing folk in the building. So I'm afraid that I'm trying to monitor the number of people that are coming in these meetings. That's all I'm saying. Okay. If we're comfortable to have that meeting at 7 o'clock tomorrow, certainly we can. But are we giving Tony enough time to prepare for that meeting?
He should have gotten copies of that when the calendar was put out. I'll
I
check with
understand, but
him.
we can't-
I will check with him tomorrow
Okay.
if he
He's
does
on the
not.
line.
He's there right there. I
He's
mean,
online with us.
Is he still there?
Yes,
I
he
don't
is.
see him.
Yes, he's there. He must be on mute, but he's there.
Okay, I don't see him.
He's on. You'll see his name.
No, I don't.
Oh, something wrong with
he's
your
there,
computer.
Tony. There.
Huh?
Yeah, there he
Yeah,
is.
Yes, box there. But again, we'll follow up and if such. I'm not for sure. I'm not looking at the committee who's on who. But if you guys feel that you will be able to pull that off tomorrow, I have to know early enough because I have to post it 24 hours. Those are still required to do. A posting has to go for 24 hours. Recreation has already been posted.
If it's the regular meeting that was noticed at the beginning of the year,
Are we safe there?
then we're fine. It's
Okay,
just
but then my only concern is Tony ready to be prepared for a meeting tomorrow? Would you reach out, Ms. Brown?
I will.
Okay,
I
all
see
right.
him now.
Huh?
I see his name now.
Yeah, it's down at the bottom. Yeah, okay. Anybody have any other questions?
Is this new business?
Yes. Excuse me,
Okay.
yes.
I've sent the village manager a concern from the Woodview residents on Timberland Drive. There has been issues with new building construction behind some of the houses that are in the cul-de-sac. Woodview homeowners say that they were not notified, as well as the Woodview Homeowners Association was not notified as well in advance that this was going to take place. There's been a number of trees that have been knocked down behind those houses. They're supposedly building something behind their house, these houses that are in the cul-de-sac, and they're very concerned about it because they weren't notified. They wanted to know if there was some type of letter that was sent out. Was there something sent out? Was there some type of decision made by the Woodlawn Planning Commission or committee at some point? Was there a permit or something needed? All of a sudden, these trees were down, and they're very concerned about not even knowing about it. They just happen to hear the noise behind their houses. So that's the first concern. There was actually a second concern on our street. It had to do with, and I'm looking at my notes, with a company on Chester Road. It's Downtime Rebuild. That company also took some trees down behind several homeowners' houses, which includes myself, at the beginning of the street, top of the street. Just concerned about the property lines and them taking it down. And also, one of my neighbors in the first house had a rock that must have launched from the trees being torn down that busted her kitchen window. They did just repair that last week, but it's just concerning that construction and or things like that are being done and residents feel like they're not being notified, or should they be notified ahead of time? Is this something that the planning committee discusses prior to something like this happening? So there's really two concerns that are going on within the Woodview Association on the street of Timberland.
Mayor, can I address those?
Please do.
On the first one for the Timberland, the construction, that application went to Planning Commission and the meeting. I received a notice of certification that was submitted to the village from Hamilton County Planning for all the residents that had to be notified. Mr. Brown questioned that because he lives on Timberland, and he said he never received a letter. I sent those letters out to all the residents that Hamilton County sent me on May 20th, 2020. So they should have been received prior to the meeting, but they were mailed out according to the requirements of our code. And that is for Unistrut, which is on Hillsmith, 1275, I believe it is, Hillsmith. They are doing a building expansion and a concrete pad expansion. They are going to plant some trees in the back. I wasn't at the Planning Commission meeting, but I know Planning Commission put some additional conditions on them regarding some planning to make sure everything is taken care of. The Chester Road, Ms. Fitzgerald, you said that was Downtime Rebuild?
Yeah, it's on Chester Road, Downtown Rebuild, right before you get to Timberland Drive. They took trees behind, out pretty much from the first three houses in the back. I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
An address for them? If you have an address for them, I don't know if they've submitted for a building permit or anything about that.
Yeah, that was my question. Was there a building permit that was
I don't
submitted
know.
or anything?
I don't recall.
Or is it, or should it be? And it concerns me for the simple fact that there was a accident, and that was that my neighbor's kitchen window was shattered, and the rock had to come in pretty much high speed because I went and looked at it. They called me in to look at it and was asking me questions just on the council type end. So I have pictures of that if you need it, and I also have pictures of down in that cul-de-sac as well. It's just concerning that I know we've had some issues before, just me being a resident as well, in regards to buildings and things being put up, say 10 or 15 years ago, without the knowledge of the residents. So I just want to make sure to see if Woodlawn has an obligation there to make sure that the residents know of things that like that happens.
If there's a requirement that they go to planning commission, requirement that planning commission notify the abutting property owners, we follow the code and we notify the residents. Now this downtown rebuild, I'm not familiar with them. I'll have to check their address to see if the county has anything on file for an application and if there was a requirement to go to planning commission or if it was something that they're just clearing. Regarding the window that was broken at the neighbor's house, I hope the downtown rebuild company took care of that for the resident. The resident didn't have to pay for it.
So the other concern too is that I had a resident over here as well said that they spoke with the construction, that was the vendor that was hired from Downtown Rebuild. And they said that they had called the Village of Woodlawn several times with no answer. So that's concerning me too. She did not give me a date when they did that. I don't know if they were just trying to reach out, but I just want to put that out there, that they said that they did try to call. So I don't know. I don't know if that was during the whole beginning of COVID-19 or not.
Well, I will also say that we do have an answering machine and
Right.
calls after hours, and I don't recall anyone talking about downtown rebuild. So,
Okay. So Downtown Rebuild hired a contractor to take down the trees. And I spoke with the contractor as well, because I heard these trees going down and it was affecting me as well. So I know a little bit, and we can talk offline about that as well.
I'll look at it,
Okay.
get back with you.
Okay.
I know, Jerry. I know, at the planning meeting, Mr. and Mrs. Jones from over there in the cul-de-sac, they were present at the meeting.
Jones?
Yeah, the Jones.
Received a letter?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm assuming that they did because they were there present at the meeting. They had some questions and the questions they had were answered and they seemed to be satisfied with that.
And they're on the range side too.
Hmm?
The Jones family's on the range side.
They are.
So it could have been maybe, I keep hearing a chirping sound. Is anyone else hearing that?
Somebody need to, that's
Okay.
the key.
No,
Call.
So can I suggest,
So, I'm under the assumption that they got the letter, maybe the others got it and maybe did not know or I don't know. Not sure.
so I just have one other comment, just so we, I guess, cover all our bases. The street, Woodview has a homeowners association. So I don't know if that's something that should include the association as well, when things are being done to affect the neighborhood. So we do have, management on the street.
Mhm.
Well,
That
Pam,
would be a Emily or a Jerry question. I'm assuming that we are operating under the code. So I guess maybe Emily could speak to that.
this past Saturday, we had a homeowners association and some of the things that were raised. If the person who was doing the work, if they were infringing on their property, that was one of the things that was discussed at the meeting. And they just want to make sure that they have not gone beyond their boundaries.
Okay.
if I can address, they had to have a survey. Sorry. They had to have their property surveyed. So they shouldn't be infringing on any property. Now, I did have a discussion with Mr. Brown, since he's a resident up there, regarding the homeowners association. The requirement of our code requires us to notify the property owners. The homeowners association is not a property owner. They represent all you homeowners. So we do not have their address. We don't know who they are. And I don't know how many homeowners associations would be in the village, but we are following the code, and that is notifying the property owners. Emily, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add.
No, I was just going to echo what you said. I don't think we have anything in our code that would provide for notification of homeowners associations, or even how to determine if there is one. So, and if so, how to contact them. So,
Okay, thanks. There's some of the questions that came up in the meetings we just had.
Okay, very well. All right. Does anybody have any other new business that they'd like to talk about tonight? Having none, I'm going to motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second on the motion.
Second,
That Kiana?
yes.
Okay, thank you. All ayes.
Aye.
There are no nays out there. Thank you so much. Everybody take care. Miss Brown, I see you smiling over there. Everybody take care. Have a safe week. Continue to practice safe distancing out there. I still keep preaching that, team. It is serious. And the numbers are kind of surrounding us. So please be careful out there. We have some seniors out in the community that you have the opportunity to check on. Please do so. And let them know that you just want to make sure that they're good. So whoever they are out there, check on them. All right. Everybody else, have a good evening. Take care. And we will see each other. If you're in recreation tomorrow, we are having rec tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, Keith, from ICRC.
And Keith, thanks. Good to see you back there. Keith and I used to work together. Yes. So have a good evening, everybody, and take care of yourselves.
Good evening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye now.
Good night. Stay safe.
Good night, everybody.